Hey everyone, welcome to the Yoshi Cast. I'm Yoshi. Today is Tuesday, July 17th, 2018, and this is episode 9 of Bag and Board. Yoshi! Thanks for joining me, everybody. I've picked up a stack of books since last week to bag and board with you, and I've been really excited to record this video because one book in particular sticks out above the others, and I'm really shocked. I want to just get started right away. This is Masters of the Univers preview copy. I'm just going to go ahead and stick this under the other cam here so you can get a better look at it. This book, as the price tag says, I got for $2.99. This is an incredible find. This is this was one of those books I didn't even bother putting on my Grail search list because I never thought I would ever find it. Why is this book so important and why am I so hyped up about it? This is the very first blank cover comic book. So this Masters of the Universe exclusive preview copy was put out by Image Comics. Now this variant cover, this blank cover, the first time that a blank cover was designated to be sketched on, this was commissioned by Dynamic Forces. And if I remember the story correctly, this was a convention exclusive. You could only get this at a convention or maybe their store, but I think it was a convention only thing. This was the first time this had ever been done. Yes, you could take normal comic book covers to a convention, you still can, and artists can do a little doodle on them. This was the first time a cover was designated for that. I never in my life thought I would be lucky enough to own this, and I found this by accident at my local comic book store. And there's a story behind all of this, and I'm going to get to it. I want to go ahead and bag and board this guy while I'm talking about it, but let's flip it over because I believe there's a little, yes, there's a certificate of authenticity. There's a Dynamic Forces sticker holding the bag closed. Dynamic Forces Inc. has issued this certificate to authenticate this copy of Masters of the Universe, Dynamic Forces exclusive white preview book, as one of the specially limited series of 5,000 copies. So this is the authorized signature of somebody who works at Dynamic Forces. It looks like Nicola, can't read it. Certificate number is 1,777. Very, very cool. Copyright information, 2002. So this book came out and was commissioned in 2002. Super cool. I am going to go ahead and open this, and I'm going to put this in a Mylar bag, archival bag and board, and put some microchamber paper with it. God, but I'm just so stoked to have this. This is just never did I think I would get it. I've seen this book on eBay rarely, and it is very expensive. It goes anywhere from $80 to I've seen it for a couple of $100. I think it just depends. And the ones I have seen were drawn on. They weren't even blank. This is just, I wonder how my comic book store got this. So the story behind this particular book, I get to save this sticker. This sticker did not get too blemished. When I was digging through the comic book boxes at the comic book store, there were 2 copies of these. They had 2 copies of this thing. I really couldn't believe it. I grabbed them both, and when I was done shopping around for the day, I went to the counter, and he was ringing me up, and I said, you know, I can't in good conscience just let you ring me up for this Masters of the Universe. I'm pretty sure this is one of these ultra rare first ever blank covers, and that it's worth some money. And a couple of computer clicks later, the guy said, you're absolutely right. What we're going to do is let you buy one of them at the sticker price because that was our fault. We didn't understand what was in the box. The other thing is we're going to take the other 2, we're going to sell it at market value, and we're also going to give you a little credit on your account once the book is sold. That's great. I'm not complaining about that. I got to keep it. I was honest with them, and they were very, very kind to me. This is in here very, very snug. So one thing I've noticed, I remembered, and I did some research back in the day when I was really getting into these blank covers, and I was checking with was doing some research back in the day about these blank covers, and I realized a lot of people seem to think that DC Comics 0 Hour, which came out in 1994, I believe, they treat that like a blank sketch cover. I don't know if they understand that it's not a sketch cover. I only saw these getting drawn on after blank sketch covers became a thing. That's really cool. After they became a thing. So I don't know if people have mistakenly been getting commissions done on that. If this is a very thin book, there's not very much to this preview edition. A very, very, very thin book. This is the glossy cover like we talked about last week. This hadn't been done before. Hasn't been done a lot at this point. In fact, this was the only comic that came out that year with a blank cover. A lot of the sketches you'll find online of people who've worked on this are very basic because this is so glossy and so smooth. It is a pain in the ass for artists to draw on. Man, I cannot believe I got my hands on this. This is so cool. I've got a piece of history here. The comic book, the guy working the comic shop the day I bought this was like, "What do you do with these? You're always getting these." I'm like, "I like to have them drawn on. I don't flip them. I take them to conventions or I mail them out to get some work commissioned on them. I like to use them for their intended purpose." Now, honestly, I don't know that I'm going to do that with this. I may keep this one just as it is because it's a piece of history. It's a piece of comic book history, and it's a piece of comic book history in a facet of the hobby that I like collecting, which are these blank covers. I think I might have to hang on to this. I may even go back to the store and get the other one at the value they end up charging for it. It's just I even got thanked by the owner. I went back to the store later that week, and the owner came up to me and thanked me for pointing that out, which is, it's good. I'm glad. I'm glad we both walked away from that feeling good and happy about it. So I got the micro chamber paper in here. What else can I tell you about this book? It came out in 2002. It was an Image Comics, Masters of the Universe. I think the next blank book to ever come out was a year or two later, and it was a Captain America book. But I don't even think it was the mainline Captain America story. It was one of the off Captain America something was a blank, and it had a huge black border around it. So the area that the artist could draw on was just limited to a small square. Yeah. And now that I've got it in the Mylar here and I can see it better under the light and it's clean, this is such a thin, glossy cover and you can see through it. You can see He-Man through it now that it's in a cleaner bag and board. But I am stoked. I can't believe I never in my wildest dreams, this was like I said, this was like a Grail comic that I didn't even bother with because I'm like, it's no way I will ever find it. This was 2002. This was the first of its kind. It's going to be highly sought after, which it's highly sought after. But the fact that it was just sitting in a long box in my comic book store just boggles my mind. Just boggles my mind. And for this book, I'm going to go ahead and reapply, if it's still sticky enough, I'm going to reapply the Dynamic Forces logo sticker they had on the last one, which it seems like it's going to work. So, there we have it, guys. How cool is that? The very first blank cover to ever exist. Masters of the Universe, Image Comics, Dynamic Forces exclusive. That is just, I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, because this is This is so random and so cool, and I never thought it would happen to me. So that is just incredible, just incredible. Okay, we're gonna stick with the blank covers theme for one more issue here. Check this out. This is the current volume of Superman, so Superman #1. And DC Comics did something amazing. They decided to wrap this book in a light cover, I almost want to call it tissue paper, but it's not tissue paper. It's super thin, it's super glossy, but underneath that is the Superman blank. And my comic book shop had 3 of these bad boys. These were awesome. I'm going to put this under the other camera. My comic book shop had 3 of these bad boys, and I went to go buy all 3 of them, and they have instituted a rule now that variant covers, people can come in and buy one. They can buy one variant cover until the week is over, the new comic book week is over. So next Wednesday I can go back in, and if any of the blanks remain, I can get one, or get the remaining 2. I don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, maybe because of that, I was able to score this blank Superman cover, which is beautiful, by the way. I don't care for the names of the artists or of the creators down here, and this could be more minimalistic. But to have a blank cover with a basic Superman logo, I've been waiting years for this. We finally got it. This isn't bad. It could have been worse. Anyways, what I was getting at is, since they added this protective, man, it's almost like wax paper. Maybe that's what it is. Since they added this, there wasn't a single ink smudge or smear on a single one of the 3 blanks in my comic book store. It's as if the ink smudging that I've seen on blank books are from the books bouncing off each other from the print press. So if you wrap them, when the next book lands on it or they're shipping, they're not going to exchange ink. We're not going to have smudged blank covers, where a lot of mine are smudged. And because I have to order them online, I can't look at them before, so about half of what I order ends up being smudged. But this, based on the small sample size of 3 books I saw, they were perfect. They were absolutely perfect. Now, here's the thing. Here's the question I got. Do I leave this on here and put it in the bag and board and let the artist draw on it and then put it back? I'm going to go with no. I want to see the book, especially after it's been drawn on. I like to be able to flip through my box and know what I'm looking like. I truly hope DC Comics is starting a trend with this, and that going forward, future comics that are blank cover variants will have this waxy-like paper on top of it to protect them. This will help us guys in smaller and gals, help us guys and gals in smaller towns that don't have access to a large variety at our comic book store and have to order these books online, to know that most likely our books are going to come unscuffed from now on. I really hope DC starts this trend, and I hope everybody else follows suit. I think it's great. Now, the $64 million question, gentlemen, is how easy does this come off? Like I said, I want to be able to flip through my comic book box and see the cover, especially if there's art on it. So let's just try and rip it off. I mean, it's stapled on there like all the other pages. It's a lighter paper. Let's just, can we get it off of here without damaging it? Look at that. Almost came off perfectly. That, my friends, that is great. You know, and a little bit of tweezer, and I can get this little bit out of here. I'm not worried about this at all. This is a satisfactory solution. There's just a tiny bit stuck in the top staple and nothing stuck in the bottom staple. And if you've got tweezers like I do, I just don't have them out with me, I could pull that right out. That is not going to be a problem. Also, I don't know if this is distracting everybody at home, but it's distracting me. This is normal for the E-Gerber bags and boards. They don't bleach the boards, so you get some natural cardboard showing through. It's perfectly flat. It's not going to harm or affect anything in the storage or archival aspect of these boards. They are perfect. It's fine. It's just because they don't bleach the pulp that you get some variant like that. So there's nothing wrong with that, if anybody was wondering. This is a great cover. I love the vertical minimalist barcode. I don't truly understand why they have to put the barcode on the blank, since when you look at this, the very first page is cover A with the barcode. Maybe, and this could be it, and I'm one of these people, my comic book store is pretty respectful, but maybe comic book collectors don't want anybody opening their book for any reason whatsoever, so that's the compromise, to also include the barcode on the back. I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and bag and board this guy. And here is the blank for Superman, forget the volume, but issue number 1 with the basic logo, the blank cover, front and back. Oh man, I'm super stoked about this. Super stoked. So with a bunch of comic books to go through, let's just hit up with the next one. We've got a what if comic. What if the Avengers had fought Galactus? Now, I got this book because this cover is an homage that I didn't know existed. It is an homage to a Fantastic Four issue 49, I believe. I'll put the image on the screen. And I bought 49 earlier this year. I bought Fantastic Four 49, I think it's 49, earlier this year at Emerald City Comic Con. And I got it because I want to do an homage. I want to have a sketch cover homage made. It's a sketch cover I've already had commissioned, and I'm just waiting for it to get finished. Now, I didn't know this book existed, and with my sketch covers, I like to display them with the original book alongside it, and if I can find other variants, other homages, display that with them as well, which this is. I didn't know that an homage existed. There's probably more, but this is the first one I've ever seen. And that's why I picked up this book. I just thought it would be really cool to have and to be able to display with the other books. So here we go, issue 41 of What If the Avengers Had Fought Galactus, a giant size special. It's just glowing in the Mylar. The colors are really going great, especially this yellow gradient to an orange here. It's really awesome. The dark purple of Galactus. It's just really shining. This book looks really good, and it'll look good displayed to my Fantastic Four 49. Now we're back to my buddy, the guy I'm trying to collect the first run of to be able to read. Interesting thing, I'm talking about Punisher War Journal. This is issue 18. I recently found a website. I'll include a link in the show notes down below because I cannot remember the name of the website. But this website basically has what is the reading order of almost, I don't know if almost every character, but every character I've searched for on this website they've had. What is the reading order for Punisher? So I got the entire list, all the way from the Punisher's introduction in Amazing Spider-Man 139, 129, all the way through, and it goes on and on. I'm gonna go through issue 100 of the Punisher, but this book is included in that list, Punisher War Journal 18. I've used that list to update my want list on my Google spreadsheet that I use, so that when I'm in a comic book store, I can just look up, okay, I'm missing this book, I'm missing that book, and see if they've got it. So there you go, Punisher War Journal, issue 18. It says, every year, Hawaiian vacations end safely and happily for more than 1 million people. They aren't in this issue. I just realized he's got a Hawaiian shirt on over his logo there. Very cool. Punisher War Journal issue 18. Here we got another action-filled issue cover. We got another action-filled cover of the Punisher War Journal issue 16, Texas Checking Account Massacre. Here we go, The Punisher, issue 16, Texas Checking Account Massacre. Punisher goes, payback time, sleazeball, with interest. That's just awesome and cheesy at the same time. Love it. Looks great too. Here we've got The Punisher War Journal, issue 15, Non-Mutant Mayhem. And it looks like this cover was done by Jim Lee, which is pretty neat. There we go, the Punisher War Journal, issue 15, Non-Mutant Mayhem, cover by Jim Lee. And it just looks great. Now we have the Punisher War Journal, issue 14, guest starring Spider-Man. So we're going in reverse order, I guess. I had these in the wrong order, but that's cool. They're still neat to look at. Here is the Punisher War Journal, issue 14, guest starring Spider-Man, cover by Jim Lee. And you know what? I've been looking at these Punisher books as we've been flipping through these today, and I really do love Jim Lee's version of the Punisher. I might just say it's the best version of the Punisher, or the version I like of the Punisher is Jim Lee's. That's really cool. Next up, we have the Punisher War Journal, issue 14. Vengeance Belongs to Bushwhacker. Again, Jim Lee. Again, I'm really digging his Punisher design. So, Punisher War Journal issue 13. Vengeance Belongs to Bushwhacker. Cover by Jim Lee. And it looks great. I really, really dig his version of the Punisher here. My final book this week is a Marvel True Believers. It is a reprinting of Fantastic Four: The Coming of Galactus. So these Marvel True Believer books, Marvel's been doing this for a little while, but these are reprintings of original issues, specifically key issues. And this is a key issue from Fantastic Four. You know, these are really fun books to have. I think a lot of collectors like them because they can grab these for, honestly, they cost $1. They're $1. Collectors can pick these up, not have to open or worry about their original issue of Fantastic Four in this case. They can pick it up, they can read it, and they don't have to fret too much about it. I think that's really cool. I think that's great. Like I said, Marvel's been doing this for a little while. I don't own very many of these. They've got a couple coming out I'm very interested in. They've got the Spider-Man issue that's the first appearance of Punisher. I'm looking forward to snagging. But I think they're fun, and for $1, man, you can't beat that. You can learn the history of these characters, what happens in these key issues. I think that's just fantastic. Yeah, it's a perfect price point, and these are tried, true, tested stories. They're good. You're not going to feel gypped when you buy them, that's for sure. And there we go, Marvel True Believers, Fantastic Four: The Coming of Galactus. Great book. So that's what I've got for this week. I want you to know you can find links to the bags and boards and microchamber paper and tape I use down below in the show notes. I'm also working for next issue. I'm hoping to do a contest to give away a book. So that should be exciting, and you should check that out when I post that. As for this week, that's all I've got. I'll catch you guys in the next video.